In a small dusty village, where the evenings smelled of wood smoke and the night sang with crickets, where dusty paths wound between mud-walled houses, lived a boy named Edet. He was only 5 years old, but his mind was far older, always racing, always curious, always asking why or how. Edet's world was tiny, a mud-walled house with a leaking roof, a field where his father toiled from dawn to dusk, and the small stall where his mother sold vegetables and groundnut. His father, Papa Edet, was a poor farmer with rough, cracked hands, while his mother, Mama Edet, was a petty trader whose laughter always carried hope. He had two little sisters, a Fyong and Eno, who adored him. But unlike them, Edet didn't spend much time playing hide and seek. Instead, he would sit for hours watching the one thing in the whole village that fascinated him, the old radio at the corner of the stall. It was broken, but he'd twist its knobs and poke its inside, imagining it was a magical machine that could talk to the whole world. Whenever his father came home, Edet would run to him with questions. "Papa, how do people make computers? Papa, can a phone be built here in our village?" Papa would smile tiredly, looking into his son's eager eyes. Inside, he felt the weight of his emptied pockets, but heavier still was his determination. He had no money for gadgets or school fees beyond the basics, but he promised himself one thing: this boy's dream will not die in this village. One market day, a traveling merchant brought an old, half-dead laptop for sale. It had a cracked screen and missing keys. Edet's eyes lit up like the morning sun. The price was far more than Papa could afford, but that night, after everyone had slept, Papa sat in the dark thinking. Over the next few weeks, he worked extra hours on other people's farms, carrying heavy loads under the scorching sun. His palms blistered, but his resolve didn't. Finally, he returned to the market and bought the battered laptop. When he placed it in Edet's small hands, the boy hugged it like treasure. "Thank you, Papa. You are the best dad in the whole world. You don't know how much this laptop means to me." "God bless you, Papa." It didn't matter that it couldn't turn on. Edet spent hours just opening and closing it, tracing the shapes of the keys, pretending to type code that would one day build his own tech company. He told his sisters, "One day, I will become a tech entrepreneur. I will make computers better than this one. I will be the Bill Gates of Africa, and will have a house where rain never leaks in." Papa would watch him from a distance, a quiet pride swelling in his chest. He said to himself, "Sometimes, all a great future needs is a seed, watered with sacrifice and faith." They had no electricity, no internet, and no money for fancy tools, but in that little boy's heart, a giant dream was already burning. Since there was no electricity in their home, Edet could only explore his laptop in daylight. At night, Papa sat in the dim glow of a kerosene lantern, planning how to give his son a better future. At school, Edet learned ICT without ever touching a computer. His teacher, Mr. Ocone, drew pictures of keyboards and monitors on the chalkboard. Edet memorized every detail and drew his own computers in the sand. Mr. Ocone saw Edet's passion and invited him to his home to use a slow but working laptop computer. Every Saturday, Edet walked for an hour just to learn typing and programming. At 13, Edet repaired radios and small electronics for villagers. With the money, he bought a small solar panel to power his old laptop. He began coding simple programs, dreaming of an app to help farmers like his father. At 16, Edet entered a regional science fair. He built a prototype app, Farm to Market, to connect farmers directly to buyers. His project won second place and was featured in the newspaper. The newspaper story caught the attention of an NGO, which offered Edet a scholarship to study computer science in the city. Papa's voice was steady. "Go and build the future, my son." The city was overwhelming: tall buildings, noise, bright lights. University was challenging, but Edet kept learning and refining his app. He joined tech hubs and met other innovators. After graduation, Edet won a startup grant He launched farm-to-market technologies, hiring a small team and connecting thousands of farmers to buyers across the country. Years later, Edet returned to his village, not as a boy with a broken radio, but as a tech entrepreneur. He built a community computer center so children could learn and dream. Standing before the children, Edet said, "It doesn't matter where you start. What matters is how far you dream and how hard you work." Although the sun set over the village, but for you, the light of possibility would never fade. Moral of the story: your current situation shouldn't define your future, but your determination. The world may judge your dream by your clothes, your house, or your background, but that shouldn't limit your potential. Dreams are like flicker of fire, and all that is needed in order for it to burn wild is a little wind of hope and fuel of motivation. Never let the world's doubt become your belief. What truly matters is your belief in your dreams, your efforts, and the people who never stop believing in you. Even the smallest beginnings can lead to the greatest destinies if you never stop dreaming. Thanks for watching.